Hello, everyone. I'm Cindy Edwards, and with me to discuss some important news from Atlas Salt is Atlas President Rowland Howe. Mr. Salt, thank you for joining us today, and Happy New Year to you, sir.
Hi, Cindy. Happy New Year to you too.
Thank you very much. Now, Rowland, the new year is off to a roaring start for Atlas with news of a big hit on a step-out drill hole east of the known resource of Great Atlantic. It's the easternmost hole you've drilled, and it cut an Eiffel Tower-sized gross salt interval of 333 meters. So tell us why this hole is so significant.
And this is truly a whopper of a hole, Cindy. It's clearly one of the best ever drilled at Great Atlantic. We stepped out 250 meters to the east of our previous hole, CCC4. The northeast trending deposit, it just keeps getting bigger. We've yet to find the limits to it, and we likely won't. What's even more significant is the shallow depth of the deposit relative to other operating salt mines in North America. And this drill hole, for example, hit the salt bed at a depth of just 243 meters. That's just under 800 feet. And the world's biggest underground salt mine in Goderich, Southern Ontario, I managed it for many years, is extracting salt from 1,800 feet, and they are using vertical shafts. So this shallowest deposit in the sector, and of course it's immediately beside a deepwater port, and that depth allows us to actually use declines rather than shafts, which simplifies the operation dramatically. We have an incredible scenario here at a time when the North American road salt market is facing a domestic production shortfall.
Well, on the heels of this news on drilling and ahead of the upcoming PEA for Great Atlantic comes word of an institutional-focused $10 million offering that would boost an already strong Atlas treasury. Can you elaborate on this sudden announcement, Rowland?
Yes, Cindy, it's another very positive development. As we get additional clarity on just how big this deposit is, increasingly over the last year, we've seen more institutional interest in Atlas through our day-to-day trading. And given the attractiveness of the Great Atlantic asset and the opportunities this presents for investors, I'm sure this trend's going to just intensify. And yes, this 10 million is institutionally focused. It's an exciting development, and it really gives us considerable additional leverage moving forward.
Now, Rowland, I have got to thank you for sending me some samples of the colorful Great Atlantic drill core. We have snow white, gray, pepper, rosé, and we have champagne. Hence the glass of champagne that I have here. Cheers to that.
Cheers.
That's good. Oh, that's good salt too. Oh it actually tastes better when you put a little salt in the champagne. Now, this tastes really good. So what accounts for these various colors? Is there a difference in these salts?
Great Atlantic is, it's surprising, exhilarating in many respects, and there's really no difference in grade or quality with respect to the different textures. Just very cool to look at. The coloration is really, there are certain different minerals within the salt, different crystal structures that give it. Sometimes it's a darker looking material, but in fact, actually when you crush it, it's white. So it's a refractive effect, but also there's some minerals in there. A little bit of iron will give it that rosé color too.
But the salt that goes on the road will still be the color we're used to.
Absolutely. You crush it down, it's going to look like salt.
Okay, now drilling for salt at Great Atlantic is not like drilling for gold or other metals for that matter. So why are you so confident in the quality of this salt in hole CC9 before you even have assays?
Well, we know that the deposit between the holes, we've seen that it's homogeneous, it's predictable over a wide area, very consistent. And that's one of the great advantages of Great Atlantic. And that's one of the things that makes it very similar to the DNA that Goderich has.
All right. Now, when you look at Great Atlantic, how big it appears to be as you have yet to find the limits of this deposit, and of course, the Fishells Brook Salt Dome to the south, how significant is this new district scale discovery of salt in North America?
The Basin George Salt District is definitely going to be on the international map as a prolific salt district, with Great Atlantic in the heart of it as a unique deposit. And given its shallowness, and of course, right beside the deepwater port, That's the cornerstone asset right now in the district. The premier undeveloped salt project in North America. Fisher's Brook, of course, is a different type of deposit or structure, a salt dome, which is ideal for underground energy storage potential. And we know the Newfoundland government and private sector are both rapidly moving towards the development of a world-class clean energy hub featuring hydrogen for export. And that's going to require underground storage. And Atlas has a big investment in Fisher's Brook through its holdings in Triple Point Resources. And we should be hearing a lot from Triple Point in the near future too.
Now, Rowland, the company is on track to release initial economic numbers on Great Atlantic later on this month. SLR will be issuing an independent preliminary economic assessment for the project ahead of the final feasibility study. So how confident are you that this upcoming PEA will support the assertion that Great Atlantic is the premier undeveloped high-grade rock salt project in North America?
As you say, it's an independent assessment, and there's nothing I've seen which changes my belief. I mean, it's got all the right asset mixes that will make it a premier operation. So I think it's good.
A total of only nine holes have been drilled at Great Atlantic ahead of the PEA and the feasibility study. Why is it not necessary to drill more holes, as the company is saying that CC9, this big step out to the east, is the final diamond drill hole?
As I mentioned before, I mean, this is a geographically widespread deposit, but it's homogeneous between the holes. We can see consistency. It's predictable. So you don't need to put holes side by side by side. In fact, that just actually makes problems for you down the line when you actually do develop and lay out the mine. So, the nature of the deposit, we don't have to pepper it with holes. We know it's there.
Only one new underground salt mine has been built in North America in the last 60 years. So is the appeal of Great Atlantic for a potential buyer the fact that it could become the most technologically advanced salt mine in North America?
Absolutely. I mean, it's the way this mine we're looking to design it. It's going to be pretty much entirely electric, versus a lot of the other mines are using diesel and drone blast, and obviously a lot of fumes associated with that. So environmentally friendly. The actual processing is very environmentally friendly. There's no big surface footprint, no wet processing, no tailing ponds, and being a new mine, you don't have the big underground structures that need to be maintained in some of these decades-old mines. So it's a lot less expensive to actually get to the salt, and being able to be nimble and process and produce it a lot more quickly to demand.
All right, Rowland Howe, thank you again for joining us today. We'll be chatting again here in January as more news and economic numbers come out on Great Atlantic. Cheers to you, sir.
Cheers, Cindy. Thank you.
And you can check out atlassalt.com for more information. We'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.